JLT. See, I just want to talk for a minute. Show the certain, take the world. Greetings and thank you for tuning in to another episode of Timeout Talk with me, JLT. We on episode number 4. This is my mid-season finale. I'm only doing 8 episodes, and then I'm gonna take some time to enjoy my summer a little bit. It's hot out there, boy. Melt a frog, but I'm gonna go try to enjoy it anyway, and I'm gonna try to get back to my music and stuff too in the summertime. So I'm only doing 8 episodes. Hopefully I can knock them out week by week over the next few weeks, the next 4 or 5 weeks, and try to get this thing popping and see if I can get some more followership, some more subscribers, just so I can pass some of my knowledge on. Not that I had that much knowledge, but at least make somebody think about something. Somebody smarter than me. Make somebody smarter than me think. That should be your goal every day. If you're not the smartest person, make somebody smarter than you think. And who's ever really the smartest person, you know? Make somebody smarter than you think. That should be your goal. But so the reason why I'm a little bit late with this episode here is because it's a really important topic, you know? I wasn't like holding back trying to build up the anticipation for the mid-season finale. It's not Empire or nothing, you know? But it's an important topic, and I kind of had to think about what I was going to say. I rarely do that. I just hop on here and I just be talking shit every time. Like, I just talk off the dome. This time I actually sat down and I kind of thought about, like, what I'm going to say. How can I go about this topic without doing it any injustice, you know? I know I'm not going to be able to cover everything, all encompassing everything, because it's such an important topic. It really is. And but I really had to sit down and think about what I want to say, what I want to talk about, how I want to discuss this without really offending anybody. And that's because the topic is sexual harassment and sexual assault. Like I said, it's a very serious thing. It's hard to make too many jokes talking about this. Like, it's not a funny subject. It's not often pleasant to talk about, but it needs to be talked about. I think, like I said, it's not pleasant to talk about, and people don't like to hear about it. And that's sad, because it shouldn't be that way, because it happens so often. Like, it happens way too often for people not to want to hear about it. I mean, sure, it'd be an amazing world if we didn't have to hear about it because it wasn't happening, but it is happening. So somebody got to listen. Somebody got to talk about it. Somebody got to make it more well known. I mean, we got the thing that's going on in Hollywood with the Me Too, and yeah, this producer did this, and all these women coming up, and Bill Cosby did this, and Bill Clinton did that, and the bills are the bills, you know. But it gets a lot deeper than that. You know, it's not just what the media want to cover, and it's just happening in the celebrity world when you're trying to get a job as a movie star. You know, this happening to everyday people every day. Every day. Like, I've heard the same story from so many women who tell me that when they were growing up for several years, or until they moved out of the house, you know, on one occasion, they were being sexually assaulted every day. Molested, raped, sexually assaulted every single day. I've heard this story from several different women, and their stories are so similar. Like, yes, it started here. It went here. I kind of tried to tell somebody then and they didn't want to hear it. Or I kind of tried to tell somebody then and they just fully didn't believe me. Like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. Or for one, it started so early that they didn't even realize that it was anything wrong until they heard friends saying disgusting stuff about that kind of stuff happening between parent and child. Like, that's how normal it had gotten to be before she realized that, hey, this shouldn't be happening. And it doesn't, I mean, it happens. I believe, honestly, that it does happen a lot more to women than it does to men. It happened to me as a child. I've only told maybe 2 other people in my life. But I feel like there are so many people that are more heavily affected by it than I was. It happened to me extremely early. And I don't know. I feel like it didn't affect me as much as I've seen it affect other people. And that's kind of what I want to talk about today. You know, just the other people out there, how it happens to everyone, how that's not just, you know, specific to a certain social class or a certain race. You know, this shit happens a lot to a lot of people, and it's very sad that it's not talked about more often. I think the worst part of it is that it's usually somebody that person, the victim, trusts. You know what I mean? It's somebody that person trusts and is supposed to depend on, especially when it comes to children. Like, it's like, this is the adult that's supposed to take care of you, and they're doing this to you. It makes it really sad. And while we're talking about children, I'll start there because I think that's where it all starts. I think the mindset that we have I don't want to say we, but the mindset that's been developed culturally, just how our values, like it kind of breeds this kind of shit. Like, it's not happening this often because we, firmly hammering it. We kind of breed the environment for it, and we kind of just let it go. Because you think about it, I know in some schools they've banned like sex education. In those schools where it is still taught, they maybe talk about sex education like, hey, this is how you put a condom on a banana. But they don't tell you, hey, don't put your banana in a girl unless you get express permission from this girl. What's the point in just, covering these small aspects of sex without the entire respect that should be behind any type of sexual interaction with another person, male or female? It gotta be there. It gotta be there. It has to be taught. It has to be talked about. Like, I have uncles, I have friends, I have buddies that this has happened to, and the majority of them will tell you that they rarely told anybody. The person that did it got away with it. That's not good. It's not good, because if it's happening and these people feel like they can't talk to anybody about it because nobody gonna listen to them, nobody gonna believe them, well, guess what? Now they're not talking to anybody about it. Cool. That's gonna eat them up inside. That's gonna fuck them up inside, and that perpetrator is gonna go on to do that to somebody else because the first person that it happened to didn't feel like they could tell anybody or that anybody would believe them. So now it's gonna keep going because this perpetrator is not getting caught. And guess what? The next person probably won't tell anybody. The next person probably won't tell anybody because we breed this culture of, hey, it's not okay to talk about that. People are so uncomfortable talking about sexual harassment. A lot of people don't even want to hear about it. Oh, that's sad. Don't talk about that sad kind of stuff. I don't want to hear it. It's going to ruin my day. Well, who are these people supposed to talk to? Yeah, you don't want to hear about it. What about when it's your son or daughter in that situation? And they feel like they can't talk about it to you because you feel like that's not a good thing to talk about. You don't want to hear about it, blah, 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 And really, we breed the grounds for it. The playgrounds for it. Threw a joke in there, even though it's not a joking situation. I mean, because you got little boys that'll run around and slap little girls on the butt. And it goes both ways. I seen little girls run around, slap little boys on the butt. My son was telling me it's a little girl in his class, like touch little boys' butts. That's sexual harassment, little girl. People be like, hey, don't do that. She didn't want that. But they don't tell them, they don't give them the full magnitude, the full gravity of the situation. Like, hey, you little fucker, this is sexual assault. You touch my daughter like that, I'm gonna rip your fucking head off and put your ass in prison. I mean, little kid, you ain't putting him in prison, but I rip a little kid head off. They touch my daughter like that. Oh, dang, I got a little too violent right there. Let me calm down. But it's a serious situation. It's a serious situation. And really, I'd even go back even further. I watched a TED Talk on this, and the guy, the way he explained it is how I'm going to explain it with my own little tweak on it, because it's very valid. And the way we raise our kids kind of is the initial breeding grounds for the disparage in how men and women are treated. Probably the reason why it happens more to women than it does to men, the sexual assault and the sexual harassment. Because as little boys, think about it, you growing up, you're a little boy. You fall, you scrape your knee. What's your mom or your dad or your guardian, what they gonna tell you? Get up, stop crying, wipe your eyes. Boys don't cry. Rub some rocks on it, rub some dirt on it. Go fall again, break your arm. That's when you come crying. And that's what we told as men. Cause you're gonna be a man. You don't cry. But then, same little girl, she fall, do the same thing. Bam, scratch on the leg. Oh, come here, let me kiss it. Oh, it's okay, baby, cry on me. Cause you're a girl. And you setting these differences between boys and girls. So you got the little boy, he got a scratch knee. He just told us to go fuck off. Like, hey, rub some dirt on it. You a man. Beat your chest. But then he see the little girl get her knee scratched, and she gets coddled and carried because she's so sensitive and so tender, and she's not a man. Because men, we're something. As a woman, you need to be coddled and taken care of because you're a woman. Because you're less of a person than a man. You have to be coddled and, your wound treated. But as a boy, you stop crying. You don't cry, you little boy. Boys don't cry. If somebody throw bad, you throw like a girl. Somebody shoot bad, you shoot like a girl. Somebody slow, you run like a girl. So we got all these things that we say and that we kind of hold in our society that like kind of devalues women. And even as you get older, you start seeing that women are objectified. And I don't want to sound like a feminist on here. I don't want to sound like a feminist. I don't know what the feminist movement is all about. Like, you want to be treated not equal but better. What? Hold up, I'm confused. That's just switching roles. We want equality, but you hold the door open for us. Now I'm talking shit about feminism. I don't mean to do that either. Some of them are genuine about equality. Like, I hold the door open for you, you hold the door open for me. I pay for some checks, you pay for some checks. But I mean, not to get out on tangent at one time. I probably won't no more because this is a serious topic. But I mean, that's really the values that we hold in our society that kind of, like I said, it devalues women. It makes men think of women as objects. When you're growing up, a woman isn't a man. She don't beat her chest. So, and it kind of starts there. So you feel like, as a man, you feel like you're entitled to do whatever you want to because you are a man, because that's how you've been treated all your life. You the big strong, who's gonna stop you? And it definitely shouldn't be like that. So it definitely starts way down there. But I mean, it carries on, it continues until you get older, and then you treating your kids the exact same way. Like, hey, boys, don't cry. Girls, you can cry. You got to get coddled as a little girl. You don't do this, you don't do that. Boys, you do this and you don't do that. We could just raise them all the same and, not really fuck around with it. I don't know. But let me not get too off topic, like I said, with this, because it's too much to cover for me to try to sit here. I'd be here for like an hour trying to cover everything. But I want to say something that will probably blow your fucking mind. I didn't even get that. I probably want to do my time the fuck out. Ooh, I just did it. Might have to throw a graphic on that. But I probably, it's going to blow your mind. Think about it. So, who was one of your heroes in history? Yeah, I'm going there. You think about all the early presidents, all the American heroes, all the world heroes. And you think about how women were treated back then, how they were objectified back then. The founders of this country, I'm about to say some shit that might piss a lot of people off, but the founders of this country probably sexually harassed a lot more people than we do now. A lot more people than I have in my life. And I don't want to say I've never sexually harassed anybody, because I probably have. By definition, I officially have. I slapped little girls on the butt when I was a little boy. Not recently, but I slapped little girls on the butt when I was a little boy. I sexually harassed. I have. I am guilty of that, just like you guilty of that. You guilty of that. A lot of motherfuckers are guilty of that. But you think about the fact that the founders of this country were sexual harassers. Maybe some of them were sexual assaulters. We know that we had the slave-owning presidents. They had consensual sex with their slave women. They raped them, Was that if that woman wasn't a slave, would she have agreed to that sex? Probably not. That's rape. Like, just all throughout history, it's been happening. If there's somebody you look up to in history, they probably sexually assaulted somebody in their life. Because when you break it down, any unwanted contact with anybody, not just man on woman, woman on man, man on man, woman on woman, any unwanted sexual contact is sexual harassment. The little shit we got where, you a football player, so you slap niggas on the butt. That is sexual harassment. I'm actually, bam, just came to my head right now. I was sexually harassed in high school. There was a guy walking around slapping everybody on the butt. I didn't want him slapping me on my butt because I'm like, dog, chill. He came slapping me on my butt again. I'm like, chill. I was about to fight this guy because he was sexually harassing me. And I didn't realize that he was sexually harassing me because you're not taught that in school. You're not taught that, hey, you can go report this and this guy can get in real trouble because you've asked him to stop. You've let him know the contact is not wanted. He continues to sexually harass you. I didn't know that. Actually, like I said, I just thought about it just now that that's an incident that happened to me. Like we have too many things built up in our societies, in our cultures, in our races, in our religions that give breath to sexual assault because we start thinking that these things are okay. And then you think this small thing is okay. Maybe I'll do a little bit bigger thing. That's still okay. Yeah, I did that little bit bigger thing. Let me do something bigger. Oh, that's still okay. And it's kind of still the same little small thing, right? Just slightly compounded to the point where they sexually assaulting somebody. But let me wrap this up. So there are a lot of people that have a story to tell. And when I talk to people, I like to listen. You never know what somebody gonna throw at you. You never know what somebody has to say. I've heard from, like I said, I've heard from cousins and siblings and distant cousins that I didn't even think to ever talk to about incidences where they were sexually assaulted, and kind of nothing really came of it as far as real punishment to the predator. But it made them feel better just to talk about it with somebody, to get it off their chest, to finally be able to say, hey, this happened to me. I was affected by it. I'm gonna tell you this story. Be that ear to somebody. And maybe once we all kind of get fully informed and get it in our fucking heads that this is a serious issue, we might be able to come together and do something about it. Come together and have a fucking class in high school, in middle school, in elementary. Fuck it. Have the fucking class in elementary where we gonna teach these kids, hey, this is sexual harassment. You cannot do this. You can't wait till they get older and they don't want to hear that shit no more. You don't wait till you get in college and then you done sexually harass somebody on campus and you got to go to some fucking class because the judge ordered it, blah, 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 bullshit, because you didn't go to prison even though you raped the girl behind a trash can because you a fucking white swimmer, you piece of shit person. It shouldn't be like that. This shit should be taught as early as possible, as early as they're able to understand. When you teaching them about puberty, you teaching them what their cocky is, where they getting some pubic hair at, where they fucking testicles are and what they do. Teach them about sexual harassment. Hell, teach them before that. Teach them before they get the urge to touch a girl in a sexual way or to touch a boy in a sexual way. Teach them what sexual harassment. That's what we need to do as a world. I mean, I feel like the assault is kind of being worked on, but you got to go back to where it's all starting. I don't feel like a motherfucker just waking up out of nowhere and like, I'm gonna rape a bitch today. Like, it's building up over a lifetime of little sexual harassments, little sexual deviations, the little sexual deviant motherfuckers. It's building up. Like I said, just like people don't just wake up I don't know, maybe there's some crazy motherfuckers out there, you just snap crazy one day. But a lot of the serial killers and shit like that, they have all this science and this shit oh yeah, well, they start off, they cutting up animals and blah, blah, blah. And that's how you know somebody's a fucking psychopath or a serial killer. Well, how do you know if somebody's a sexual predator? There gotta be some predeterminants for that shit. Gotta be some signs to look for. There's some shit that people doing that you can figure out, hey, this motherfucker's a sexual predator. This motherfucker's gonna be a sexual predator. He's showing some signs. Let's watch him a little more carefully than the other kids, than the other teenagers, than the other adults. It happens very, very often, and we gotta teach it. Start by teaching your kids. Teach your kids what this is. If they can't teach it in the schools because school system want to teach bullshit that kids probably never gonna use, hey, teach your fucking kids that shit. Teach your kids. I'll edit this video and cut out all the fucking cursing. That way you can let your kids watch this shit so they know what the fuck, what the crap, what the shit. However I say that without cursing. It's hard for me to speak without cursing. But so kids will know. Your young adult will know. Your teenager can hear some cussing. They done heard you cuss. They can hear me cuss. And I'll end it by saying one more time. If you don't have consent, probably sexual harassment, unless it's worse, in which case it's probably sexual assault. If you don't have consent, and I mean sound mind consent. If she's drunk and you fuck her, even if she says yes, she is not of sound mind. You just raped someone. Little bitty facts. Thank you for watching another episode of Timeout Talk with me, JOT. I promise all my shit won't be this not funny, but it's not a funny subject. Sometimes you gotta talk about some real shit that'll lead to some thinking. Make somebody think. That's my homework for you motherfuckers out there. Make somebody think. Make somebody smarter than you think about something. You don't have to be the one making the change, physically making the change. Be the one that makes somebody think. That's my homework. Thank you for watching. Like the video if you like the video. If you don't like the video, then don't like that video. Put the thumbs down on that bitch. But if you're gonna put a thumbs down, please leave me a critique. Let me know what I can do better, how you feel about the subject. We can continue the discussion down in the comment section. Subscribe to the channel, and see you again next week or the week after, but I'll see you again. See, I just wanna talk for a minute. Shoulders hurt and take the world off for a minute. Roll a L spark, now I'm all in my feelings. Cause I ain't really wrote a real song in a minute. So the pressure is building, and I've been concealing the fact that I've been hurting. My head is bumping the ceiling, I'm getting high.